Oh, wow, you do that better than a kindergarten class, so thank you. Welcome to the American Cochlear Implant Alliance International Conference on Cochlear Implants and Other Implantable Devices. We appreciate you traveling from across the globe to join us for this meeting in beautiful Vancouver. I really hope that you're enjoying it. I know that I am. We have an amazing program in store for you this year, courtesy of the Scientific Program Committee, led by Jake Hunter and Viral Tajani. And this group had representatives from the United States and from Canada, and they've collated a strong interdisciplinary program with sessions, panels, and discussions that'll work for everybody. This year, just like every year, the American Cochlear Implant Alliance continues to build on past accomplishments so that we can move the field forward together. We have, in the past year, increased awareness of cochlear implants across the lifespan. We have deepened our digital footprint through blogs and peer-reviewed articles and website optimization. We have enhanced our research dissemination, including the publication of our fourth and final cochlear implant candidacy paper in adults with bilateral hearing loss. We have cross-pollinated the field with podium presentations at national and international conferences with our sister organizations. And we have advanced our advocacy efforts, and particular attention related to congenital CMV and early hearing detection and intervention programs. Now, I would like for us to take a moment to think about Amy Popp. So the American Cochlear Implant Alliance wants to honor the memory of Amy Popp, who is an amazing audiologist, clinician, and friend who unexpectedly passed away last month. Amy likely has impacted everybody in this room, whether directly or indirectly. She worked clinically and in education, connecting with students, clinicians, colleagues, researchers. She has, in a way, touched everybody in this entire room. She had extensive knowledge about cochlear implants and auditory brainstem implants, and pretty much everything audiology for anyone who knew her. But more importantly, Amy represented the best parts of humanity. She was kind, intelligent, diligent, generous, and she had an amazing sense of humor. She celebrated her life with friends, family, and colleagues. So I just want us, in a way, just to recognize her, so if we can just give a round of applause, just to honor her and the lasting impression on our cochlear implant community. Thank you for that. And now it's my absolute pleasure to introduce a bit of Canadian flair to our conference. And we have Chris Martin, who's born deaf. He received a cochlear implant at the age of 8, and he followed his uncle and his grandfather into professional racing. Chris is NASCAR's first deaf driver and has introduced new technology to make racing more accessible for individuals who are deaf and hard of hearing. He strives to provide hope and motivation for children who are deaf and hard of hearing so that they can pursue their dreams just as he did. So let's give a warm welcome to Chris Martin as he shares our story with us.
I think I have the best part of the program because I get to introduce the NASCAR racer. And my grandbaby, who's 2 years old, wanted to know if I get to go in the car. No. Chris, you received a cochlear implant in 1994, and you were 8 years old. And at that time, most people had no idea what that device was sitting on your ear. How did you explain that to your classmates, and how did that work out?
In grade 8 to grade 12, and most kids ask me, what that thing on your head? And my shy. Oh, shoot, sorry. Sorry about that. Anyway, when I was in school, and most kids asked me what that thing on your hair, and I'm not shy to tell them that this is a cochlear implant that helps me to hear and speak. And they asked me what technology, how that works. And I said, this is embedded inside, and I showed them how it works. And most kids say, wow, that's pretty cool. I wish I had that. But unfortunately, not that. You can't have that.
Chris, we know that more than anything else, you wanted to be a racing car driver, as others in your family had done, but you had to convince NASCAR that you were safe to do that, despite the fact that you were deaf. How did you convince NASCAR that you should be able to drive?
I would say, I can't remember what year was that, back in 2007 or 2008, and I got an opportunity to go in states in South Carolina to join NASCAR, a different level. And I got a team opportunity. I drove a race car. NASCAR was trying to stop me because they didn't know how to communicate with radio. And so I showed them how to communicate with the radio. I used a phone hearing system, FM system. It's called Rogers. I use a Rogers FM system, put it on my helmet to connect it and transfer to my cochlear. And that's how I can hear and communicate. And my Rogers phone transfer to my racing radio. So that's how I said, okay, we're not going out for practice. And I'm out of practice. They can hear me talking on the radio and communicating, no problem, still in trouble. And then make NASCAR people feel comfortable and safe. And that helped me accept it that I joined NASCAR.
Chris has spent a lot of time talking to children who are deaf and hard of hearing. Chris, what would you say is the most important takeaway that you share with children when you meet with them?
The most important part that I travel to teach kids, speak kids, always follow her dream. Listen to her heart. No matter what others think, but no matter what others told you that you can't do or you can do. I went through all my life and I told her, it's going to be hard, it's going to be tough. You have to face it. You have to be strong. This is your responsibility. And tell them, yes, I can do it, no matter what. And most people trying to stop me, especially in jobs, dream or sports, hockey, or anything. I prove it. That's why I call it not a problem.
One last question, Chris. What advice can you give to this group of cochlear implant specialists who are here today?
My advice for CI would be the best opportunity for the people coming to the door. Say, you have to meet the right people, like family doctor. Don't be afraid to try CI because it's the best opportunity to change your life so much easy. And I know some people are afraid to try CI. For me, it's the best thing in my life because it helped me to hear. I can do things. You can go to work every day. You can talk on the phone. There's so much to put out there, opportunity, no matter what relation.
Thank you so much for sharing your inspiring story with us.
Thank you.
We're going to move this close to my level now. So thank you, Chris, so much for sharing your story. He exhibits the drive that we want for our cochlear implant users so that they can succeed on all levels. I appreciate that he integrated his hearing abilities into racing, by focusing on his other senses, relying on his instincts, and using technology when he races. But what impresses me most is the way that he gives back to the community and to the children who are deaf and hard of hearing. So thank you so much for being a motivational speaker, for being a good role model for them. And this sentiment really aligns with the theme of this year's conference, which is facilitating the patient journey. And over the next few days, together, we have our own opportunity to bolster our skills, to network with and learn from clinicians, researchers, scientists, educators, and advocates from around the world. This interdisciplinary nature of this conference sets it apart from most other conferences and mirrors the diversity of our cochlear implant teams and of our unique users. Please take advantage of the breadth and depth of the topics, the presenters, and use that to enhance your own journey as you move forward to make yourself better and help your patients be better. And speaking of the program, thank you again to the Scientific Program Committee who engaged in planning meetings and abstract reviews to come up with a fabulous program. And I want to give a special recognition for the involvement and support of our colleagues in Canada. So we are super fortunate that we have Karen Gordon and Brian Westerberg who served on the program committee. So if we can give them a little round of applause for helping us out with that. Of course, please don't take that away from everyone else on the committee. We love you too. We're also grateful for countless others who supported our outreach to cochlear implant professionals and students from across Canada and also across the world. And these efforts resulted in our increased attendance through Canada, through their participation as attendees, presenters, and moderators. And we have a huge conference this year as far as attendees, and we are so glad that you're all here. As we have in the past, the American Cochlear Implant Alliance plans to continue to broaden our horizons through engagement and individuals and organizations internationally. And that starts with all of you who have traveled from around the world. So thank you so much for taking the time, the effort to come here and join us in Vancouver this week. I'd be remiss not to thank our sponsors for supporting our work, and this includes contributions not only for the conference, but also for our annual work and support of our research, our advocacy, and our awareness efforts. Let's take a moment to show our appreciation with a round of applause for all of our sponsors. I bet you didn't know you would be clapping this much in the morning, so I'm just going to see how many times I can make you clap in the next 2 minutes. With the support of the sponsors and with yours, the American Cochlear Implant Alliance has moved the field forward in multiple areas. So I just want to bring your attention to some of that. So we have worked to increase awareness of candidacy for cochlear implants for all ages and lateralities, so people with bilateral hearing loss, asymmetric hearing loss, and single-sided deafness. We have collaborated with other organizations to improve access and outcomes related to the identification and intervention for children with congenital cytomegalovirus. We have increased outreach to our patients and professionals of diverse backgrounds and home languages to enhance the generality of our resources. We also have added gene therapy as a consideration along the spectrum of hearing healthcare and for treatments for individuals who are deaf and hard of hearing. This includes considering what we know, what we don't know, and how this technology applies to future generations. We apply evidence-based research to inform our policy and to increase awareness and support of the public and governmental levels. So thank you again for joining us for the CI2024 International Conference. And now I'm going to turn over the stage to our conference co-chairs, Jake Hunter and Viral Tajani. So thank you so much.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Viral Tajani.
And I'm Jacob Hunter.
Thank you all for being here and joining us for the ACIA 24 conference. We are amazed to have wonderful weather and wonderful colleagues to join us for the program this week. We just wanted to go over some of the highlights of this year's conference. But before that, we want to acknowledge all the hard works that got all of the efforts from many of our colleagues to make this program the way it is. Our committee has been amazing. We've had many monthly meetings to get this show on the road. And our committee had audiologists, surgeons, speech language pathologists, educators, psychologists. We had the whole gamut, because if you think about it, our field needs all of these specialties to advance patient care, to advance clinical research, and it's what's best for our patients here. We also want to thank all of our abstract reviewers. We had over 400 abstracts to review, and it takes a village to get all of that done. So, many of you in the audience attending, and many of you who could not attend, contributed to those efforts as well. So, like I said, we may be the co-chairs, but we needed everybody to be on board to get this going here. So, a couple of highlights for the conference. Just remember, we have a couple of themes here that we've been trying to highlight, and hopefully you can see that reflected in our program. Some of these include, as we talked about earlier, facilitating the patient journey, CIs at both ends of the spectrum. We're talking about the little ones and the very, very old ones too. Implant optimization workflow, literacy outcomes. So, hopefully you'll see all those themes reflected with the program that you see this week, and all the hot topics that are, ingrained in our heads. Be sure you check out the Rehab Connect forum. Annie, Byrath, and Donna has done a tremendous job overhauling it and improving it based upon feedback from many individuals in the audience who attended in the past years. So I do hope that you enjoy the sessions this year. And we have our poster highlight sessions this afternoon. Please be sure to check it out. Many of these posters are also done by trainees who could really benefit from all your feedback as well. And if you have a couple of special interest groups, and if any of these fall within your realm, please check it out. One of them is the a student mentorship lunch being headed by Dr. Katie Berg and Marianne Smetak. And they can speak from both the audiology domain and the otology domain on how to start one's career after training. Blair Rinchin is leading the oral rehab special interest groups, and then we have the hard of hearing providers group being spearheaded by myself, Chad Ruffin, and Jim Dornhoffers. So if any of these speak to your interests, please feel free to join us. I'll hand over to you.
We'd also like to highlight the 4 keynote speakers that we're honored to have speak to us. Dr. Ruth Latofsky is going to be kicking off our meeting this morning as the John Naparko Memorial Lecture, speaking about successful outcomes for bilateral cochlear implantation. Dr. Jill First is going to be speaking this afternoon regarding the results and expectations and gaps in knowledge in unilateral hearing loss and signal-sided deafness. Tomorrow, Professor and Dr. Andrea Carl will talk about the maturation of the auditory system. And then to close out our session, we're honored that Dr. Deb Tucci, the National Director of the NIDCD, will be speaking about cochlear implants and the future of healthcare. We also don't want to ignore the 4 panels that we've worked hard to put together. While Dr. Westerberg probably traveled the least distance to come here, we've worked hard to put together his talk on Saturday regarding complex conversations. We have the dynamic duo of Drs. Meredith Holcomb and Dr. Daniel Zeitler leading the ever-popular Stump the Experts this afternoon. And then just as dynamic, Dr. Karen Gordon and Lisa Park talking about unilateral hearing loss following Dr. First's lecture this afternoon. And then tomorrow, Donna's going to be leading a panel following Professor Krall's keynote. Last but not least, I mean, again, we would like to thank Donna and the ACI staff for helping support the committee and the growth of this program. Joan Williams with the American College of Surgeons has been helpful. And again, reminding the scientific committee we could not have done this without the group. And I think I'd be remiss for all of us to thank our families. We would not be here without their support. We're glad that we're able to continue the development of cochlear implant care this weekend. So we hope you guys have a great meeting, a great conference. I should mention, if you don't like it, our names are Daniel Zeitler and Meredith Holcomb. But we hope you have a great weekend, and we're excited for what's to come. Thank you.
Sharing that information, or Daryl, sorry about that. And now we're going to have Donna tell us a little bit about highlights from the American Cochlear Implant Alliance.
Thanks very much. If we could get the next set of slides up, please. That's the one. So we wanted to share with you where we're all from. We're delighted everybody's here today. This is an international meeting, and of course, since we're in Canada, we have the greatest number of people here from Canada. So that's really great. And then we've just highlighted where else we have a lot of individuals here. Argentina is actually number 2 with over 50 individuals here from Argentina. So thanks so much for being with us. Australia, Germany, and we have about 20 people here from Korea. So that's really cool that we have that nice Asia representation. And we have a number of people here from Africa, from Nigeria and Ghana. So that's very exciting for us to have them here. Right. And then I wanted to share some information with you about some very special people that we have with us here at the conference, recognized leaders who are known around the world for their remarkable contributions. And I'd like to start with Warren Estabrooks from Toronto. Warren was one of the very earliest proponents of parent-centered auditory verbal therapy because he recognized that this extraordinary hearing technology that we provide to children must be part of a comprehensive therapeutic program that relies upon family involvement. And he has worked with hundreds of children and trained thousands of professionals around the world in his uniquely Warren style. I may never forget the video segment of a therapy session at which Warren's young deaf patient shared about her mother's red underwear. Warren was able to elicit all sorts of comments from his patients, and that, I think, had to be my favorite. Warren, thank you for all that you've done to recognize the power of parents, and that's a theme that continues to the present. Next up is Dr. Deborah Tucci, and she is an ENT whose earliest work was as a CI surgeon, and some years ago, her interests evolved to understanding and impacting hearing loss and underserved populations around the world. And Dr. Tucci is the director of the National Institute on Deafness and Other Communication Disorders at the National Institutes of Health. And we're delighted that she will address our conference on Saturday morning, exploring cochlear implants and the future of hearing health care. Dr. Tucci, thank you for your work to advance hearing care for all. The name Carl White is synonymous with early hearing detection and intervention. And for the past 40 years, he has devoted his professional career to conducting research and providing training globally about issues and evidence related to implementing and improving early hearing detection and intervention programs for children who are deaf and hard of hearing. He has been involved in national and international legislation and programs to provide families with comprehensive information about options and opportunities for children with hearing loss to develop language. We're honored that Carl chooses to participate and contribute to the work of the American Cochlear Implant Alliance. Thank you, Carl. Please be sure to thank all three of these pillars of hearing health care if you see them here at the conference. They are so important to what we do. Okay, so a little bit about the conference. We have a first at the meeting, streaming assistive technology, and this is being brought to us through a collaboration of a local hearing center, the Vancouver Center for Hearing Accessibility, and the company that developed that ear, which is actually an Israeli company, and they're both in the exhibit hall. We really want you to try it. Whether or not you use hearing technology, you can download the app and use it with AirPods or with headphones or whatever. This is going to be an important hearing device in the future. No more picking up devices, FM systems, and infrared systems. This will allow everyone to stream the information directly into your hearing technology, whether it's your technology for a cochlear implant or hearing aid or others. And so we really want you to try it. You download the app, and of course visit the 2 exhibit booths in the hall to get more information to learn how to use it. And then these are our 5 priorities for 2024. This is really just a ploy to get you to the session tomorrow morning where we're going to talk about these in more detail. But we're continuing the work that we started last year and presented at the meeting about listening language, literacy, and messaging. We want to work to really expand public knowledge about the research that we have funded and carried out by Yvette Cias and her team on the societal benefits of cochlear implants in young implanted children. We want to talk more about awareness of cochlear implants in older adults to the larger population outside of hearing health care. We're working very intensively on insurance coverage for single-sided deafness, so we'll tell you more about that tomorrow. And lastly, we've started in a collaborative advocacy efforts with our friends in hearing health care to address some of the issues that are going on right now in early hearing detection and intervention. Some of these things that are going on are potentially very harmful to children and families. So we want to tell you more about what we're doing in that regards. Okay, the next part of the program is my favorite part. It's the Lifetime Achievement Award, which is a board-decided award, and it recognizes the contributions over the whole life and career of the accomplishments and work of someone in either cochlear implants or in a related field. And we choose someone not only for their work, but also because they demonstrate the values that we look for in people that inspire us in our field. Dr. Jill First is an audiologist and researcher who is a professor in the Department of Otolaryngology, and she's also adjunct faculty in audiology and communication sciences at Washington University in St. Louis. She's the director of both the cochlear implant program and the FIRST laboratory, intertwining clinical care with research. Those of us in the CI field are awed by the life work spanning 40 years of service and devoted to improving hearing outcomes and quality of life for deaf and hard of hearing children and adults. Jill served as the principal investigator in 2 multi-center FDA-approved NIH-funded studies, a feat few others in hearing science have accomplished. Jill was one of the first clinician scientists in the United States to provide cochlear implants for patients with asymmetric hearing loss and single-sided deafness. And her work in this area early on drove what she learned from her patients regarding the challenges of unilateral hearing. Patient need has driven her work on cochlear implantation and SSD then and now. And Jill continues to be driven by the benefits that her pediatric and adult patients derive. At the very first Cochlear Implant conference that we held as the new organization in 2013, Jill was asked to organize the segment on the key emerging issue. It was an emerging issue at that time on single-sided deafness. And Jill's early work foresaw today's recognition that bilateral hearing is a hearing health priority. Jill was a critical contributor to the work of establishing the American Cochlear Implant Alliance, and she served on the Founders Board as well as on the first Board of Directors as treasurer. And that was at a time when there wasn't very much money to access. And I think a less intrepid person would have declined the ask. But Jill took it on and steadfastly supported the new organization's development, and Jill has remained a strong supporter of our organization's work and is one of the people we turn to when we need help with a challenging research question. Jill, thank you for your continuous contributions to the field and to the founding of this organization.
Okay, can you hear me all right? All right. Well, Donna gave me 45 seconds, so I'm going to be very quick. First of all, Donna, thank you very much for those kind words. And I'd like to thank the ACIA for this tremendous honor. I'm very grateful. I'm grateful for so many things, for my family, for my colleagues and my friends, and for this field that we work in. I really feel this award belongs to all of us because I know every person in this room, in one way or another, is working to improve the lives of adults and children with hearing loss. And so thank you for letting me represent you in this way with this award. Thank you so much.
Jill's amazing, so I think she deserved all of that applause. So she's great.